everyone, my name's Amber and this is my channel A Long Way to Goal, where I'm on a journey to lose 112 pounds and I'm using Nutrisystem to do it. Today I'm going to talk about the issues that I've seen with Nutrisystem, the program, the design, the carry out, the execution, all of the different things that I've seen since I started my diet back in the middle of January. So I do have a list of them over here, so I'm going to be referencing that as we go. But so I want to say, just in general, I'm pretty pleased with Nutrisystem's structure, with the availability and the tact of their counselors. I really like the system itself. I like the foods for the most part. I mean, I really don't have a whole lot of complaints on that front. But let's talk about something. So I've talked to a few Nutrisystem counselors because I am on a personalized plan, which basically tailors your calorie intake for the day to you. So you have your standard Nutrisystem plan. For women is 1,200 calories and men is 1,500. For the personalized plans, your calorie recommendation could be as high as over 2,000. Mine was originally, and after the first week where you eat sub 1,000 calories, which I was finishing most days around 900 for the first week, there was just no way that I could put more than double that in my mouth. I had no room to do that. It just seemed like an obscene amount of food. So I didn't make it to what they had recommended, which I think was originally like 2,300 calories. Now, of course, the way losing weight works is there is an algorithm that you figure out, you plug in your numbers, and it tells you what your maintenance calories are. So that would be the amount of calories that you consume to keep your current weight the way it is. And when you're on a diet, you're supposed to decrease that, not by usually drastic amounts, but the more you decrease it, you will lose weight. So they do use that algorithm, I think, at Nutrisystem for the personalized plan. So that's why my calorie intake was so high after week 1, because that's where I was supposed to be for losing weight, and you're supposed to do it gradually and taper it down so that you have somewhere to go. When you start flat out at 1,200, you can stall because you have nowhere to go. You can't drop much below 1,200. That's not many calories. So I do understand what they're talking about, but I have talked to some Nutrisystem counselors through their web chat. So that's a type chat. And I've spoken to several of them in regards to the way that the personalized plan works and my calorie recommendations. And I would say, of the 3 or 4 that I talked to, 3 of them were great. They were really sweet, really kind. They really seemed like they cared. They were interested and really trying to find a solution. And one of them was just, this is the plan, this is the way it works, and that's the bottom line, and that's what you do, and I don't care, So I wish there was more consistency in the Nutrisystem counselors, because consistency really is key, because you're told one thing by one person and told something else by the other person, and here you are starving because you've just cut your calories by thousands to very few. And so that is one complaint that I have for Nutrisystem. I wish there was some more chat or more counselor consistency. Although for the most part, I think they do great. So the next thing is, don't get me started on the styrofoam. So your frozen foods that you get come in a gigantic styrofoam container that is wrapped in plastic, and the styrofoam just starts falling apart as you get into it. I can gently use scissors around the plastic to try to get the plastic off so I can open up the styrofoam cooler. even then, you have little tiny balls of styrofoam that just go everywhere, all over the counter, all over the floor, all over your clothes, all over the food. And they don't come off because the food is wrapped in plastics and paper. And for some reason, the styrofoam just loves to stick to it. So I still have food in my freezer that is just covered in styrofoam, tiny little pieces that I can't get off and I'm not dealing with. But the styrofoam packaging is a nuisance. I hate it. It's just such a mess, and I wish that they would figure out a cooler packaging that did not have that issue. So another thing that was a big pet peeve was when I first started Nutrisystem. So I started my diet on my own on January 13th. And I think at that point I had already ordered my Nutrisystem foods, but it was going to take some time for those items to come. So I started on my own and I lost 8 pounds in the first, 8 days or something like that. And then I got so that's what it is. So I got my Nutrisystem frozen foods on a Friday. And I could not start my diet on Friday because I did not receive my shelf-stable foods yet. And those were shipped separately, and they did not end up coming until the following Wednesday. So they were not even shipped out until the Monday after I got my frozen food. So I basically was on my own on my diet, just sitting there with a huge freezer full of food that I couldn't start yet because I was missing some of the key components from the shelf-stable box, like your first week's worth of food and your shakes and everything else, and the instructions, let alone. So that was really annoying because, I went from eating many, many thousands of calories a day to, at that time, I didn't have a way of tracking what I was eating, because I hadn't started the program yet, so I couldn't really start the New Me app. But I know I was eating far fewer, and that's why I lost 1 pound a day. But yeah, so that was really, really annoying to me, and I was just right off the bat like, how are you going to send the frozen foods almost a week before you get the shelf-stable box? That's just really annoying. They should figure out a way so that both items arrive on the same day. I appreciate the fact that they're trying to get the frozen foods to you as quickly as possible so that they don't melt on the way over. But there's got to be a way to be able to ship the shelf-stable foods first and then ship the frozen foods so that they arrive on the same day. Plan that out. I wish there was some better execution on that. Next, so with the New Me app, so you have the New Me app that you can log your weight in, and there's a lot of different things on there. You can access, recipes and tips, and your grocery guide is on there, items that are best for you based on your personalized plan and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff on there. And there is also your food logging area and how many calories you're supposed to have for the day in your journal where you log your food. So the issue is that on the app where you log your food and you can see your calories, like on my phone, it is not synced up to the website where you have your Nutrisystem account where you order your food, and you can also access your personal details and what you are supposed to eat, your calorie recommendations. Because right now, at 13 weeks into the Nutrisystem, or into my weight loss program, it still says on the Nutrisystem website that I'm supposed to be eating 2,200 calories a day. And that is not what is in my New Me app logging. And I have found that through talking to the chat counselors, they are not even able to access the Nutrisystem account to adjust the calories from there. So the Nutrisystem website tells me eat 2,100, and meanwhile, through my chats with the Nutrisystem counselors, we've worked out that I'm eating 1,400. So there's a huge difference there. And it's really annoying that the website cannot be synced up to the app, or the app can't be synced up to the website, and the counselors aren't able to adjust it. I mean, I feel like that's an issue that needs to be addressed. So hopefully they will address it. And then another thing that has bothered me is that the Numi app fluctuates in the range. Like I said, the chat counselors and I worked my calorie intake for the day down to 1400, and sometimes I'm in the app and it says 1400, and sometimes I'm in the app and it says 1499. So that's kind of annoying. You know, am I supposed to eat 1400 or am I supposed to eat 100 more calories? You know, which one is it? And then not only that, but some days I'll be like halfway through the day. So I've already, because like I said, I've already planned out my meal the day before, or my whole day of food. And I'll be halfway through the day and I go into like log some water or a vegetable or whatever, and now it's bumped back up to $14.99. So like, I'm not going to go in and change everything I planned for the day or eat 100 more calories just because it says to, because now things are getting just way screwed up. And I've had weeks where I have even gained weight because of the fluctuations in the app telling me to eat 100 more calories than what usually is on there. So it's like, don't go for those extra 100 calories. I'll say that if you want to keep losing weight, because when I do, I don't lose weight, I gain weight. So that's pretty annoying too. And then the other thing that kind of bothers me is that it seems like the personalized plan makes it harder and takes longer to lose weight, you know, and it kind of makes sense because the personalized plan is tailored to you. So like I said, instead of the standard 1200 calories that Nutrisystem used to recommend everyone that's a woman to have every day, you know, like I said, I was recommended to eat 22 or 2300 calories. And that's because of, you know, your well, what is it called? Where you're basically your maintenance calories. So, so yeah, that's double basically what the 1200 is. So it is going to take longer because they are trying to taper you down, whereas the 1200 is you're going to be really hungry for a long time because you're only eating that many calories. So I get it. You know, I see the pros and cons to both. Although I think the reason they're saying that they started the personalized plans was because people on the 1200 calorie plan stalled out. Because, you know, when you're losing a lot of weight and you start out at a really low number of calories, your body will eventually get used to that amount of calories. And then where do you go from there? You really can't go much lower than 1200. I mean, you need a certain amount every day, especially if you're active, you know. So I don't really like that about the personalized plan, that it does take longer. And, you know, saying that, I have lost 32.8 pounds in 13 weeks. I really can't complain too much. But, you know, that's 10 pounds a month, a little over 11 pounds a month or so. So that, I feel like that's a pretty healthy weight loss, actually. But I do have a long way to go. So I hope that it will continue to stay at around 10 pounds a month and not start slowing down, because I have way too much weight that I want to lose for it to start slowing down. So that's just my hope. But that is my brutal honesty on the issues that I've seen with Nutrisystem, because it's not all rainbows and sunshine. There are problems, and I hope that Nutrisystem will address them. So I hope you like this video. I hope you appreciate my honesty. And I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and follow along on this weight loss journey with me. Thanks.